In this video I've got the inside out of another one of these large LED displays used in a service station. I've actually got one of the modules removed because it went up in smoke. These have had a lot of water in them by the look of it. These LEDs are about to snap off just from the rust. So that's probably why that thing shorted out and cooked up. You can actually see on the metal case this was in that it was a bit of burn mark above that, all blackened. This one's almost in the same condition. That one's just about to fall off just from rust. And the whole top row is pretty bad. There's a bit of rusty stuff on the back. It almost looks like it's either corroded or maybe even tried to burn or something, so I'm not sure I should even hook this module up. This is the main one with the LDR on it. So I'm not sure if it needs this module, if that's like a master one. You can unplug these connectors by flicking the black bits, but they tend to break off. And then the plug pulls off, like the one on the other one. And yeah, there's the connector it goes on, so they're just a little push on. Hopefully they only go around one way. I don't know, once that thing's come off. Yeah, they just push on like that and pull off again, so they're nice. Designed to make it easy to replace the modules, because these things probably cop a bit of water. That's a smaller one, so there's three large and one small. Maybe that's like the dollar price and that's the cents or something. I forget why they have the small one. But I've just had a quick look, and there's this little switch mode power supply board here. I was trying to remember, I think they're tantalum, these yellow caps. I thought the red mark was the actual positive. And I've just been confirming that. We've got two N-channel MOSFETs here. So the positive comes in to the drain of that. It's actually got a damper diode and stuff, so it has to come in on that tab. I'm just making sure that then switches. I assume that's an inductor. It only seems to have two pins. There's a second MOSFET. Not sure what that's quite switching to. Some capacitors and stuff. I just wasn't sure if this black thing was a diode or not, but it's a cross between, looks like the positive output of the switch mode where this cap is, and ground. So I assume it's just actually some sort of capacitor. It's part of the problem with this surface mount stuff. You're never sure what you're actually looking at. I get a feeling I actually hooked one of these up before. I've had these quite a while. And when I hooked it up, I just got no display on it. So I thought maybe it's just lack of data lines, but I'll hook this one up again. But I want to get rid of probably this one because it's in poor condition. It's been lying around for ages and I've been meaning to get back to it. Finally cleaned up the garage and thought, that's it, I'm going to do something with this thing. I actually drew something, even though the load's not switched on. So there must have been a bit of a charge cap in the power supply. I've got a little bit of power draw. No LEDs lit up at all. Let's see if this output of this switch mode is doing anything. It says it runs off 24 volts DC. And that's probably the problem. We've got no switch mode output. Nothing. I think that cap, let's check this other thing. Probably a capacitor of some sort. No, 0.2 volts. So that might well be why I've got no output. Because it don't work. I've got a red light there. And we've got a little connector. I'm not sure, there was a couple of fans on the back of it, so maybe that was for that. I think that's ground maybe. Yeah, 24 volts coming in. Nothing coming out. So why the switch mode isn't firing up? Do we need some data lines on those things? We've got two other pins. Is the switch mode damaged on this one? So many unanswered questions. I guess one thing, I don't know if I checked, although it would have shown up, I think, is there a short on the output of this? Doesn't look like it, looks fine. So that would certainly shut it down. I think one of these FETs outputs into this, yeah, second FET, and this inductor, which basically acts like a transformer. So there's a little chip here that should fire up and run our chopper transistors there. There's this other module too, which I don't know under this label. Might have to look up what that is. That's got a multitude of pins there. And I don't know if that's some sort of switching circuit. A morning sun. It's a WRB 2405 CS-2W. So I might have to look up what that thing's meant to be. Or is that something to do with running, if that is the fan output? But either way, it doesn't look like we've got a voltage. If I knew what voltage came out of it, I could just hook across there and bypass the switch mode. Like, why do we need a switch mode in here? Maybe 24 volts is a standard thing for these. I think the other ones, the green ones I had, which I may still make a clock out of one day, I think they actually run off something like 24 volts. So it's possible these are all like a standard voltage, so you can swap between different manufacturers or something. And what's the details on this thing? It says a Bever Innovations, or Bever, probably Bever I guess. Eye catcher price display, full feedback version. And our type, which might be easy to read on this other one, DP24-440997 MS3 RDBK 3M1XS RDA4RA. It's like putting in your activation code for a computer game or Windows or something. Yeah, 1.9 amps it should draw at 24 volts. Read manual carefully prior to information. I don't think there is any information online about these. And I think I've got another 3 of them. I only paid $5 each for them, so I just thought I might as well grab them. Another tip shop special ages ago, and they've been sitting around for probably a few years now. And I had this one in pieces that I've been meaning to do something with and never got round to it, but I finally decided the case can go in the scrap metal and see whether I can do anything else with these other bits. But yeah, it looks like that doesn't fire up. I think that's as far as I probably got with it last time. I just worked out what the connections are. It's actually on like a network plug-in cable with the 8-pin RJ plug, which I assume is something they run underground. Although this is actually a proper network cable. Well, look at it because it's got the moulded boot, so they haven't just crimped it on the end of a cable that's gone underground. But yeah, obviously made to run off a bit of Cat5 type cable, which makes sense in the modern world. I think 3 pins are connected to the positive, 3 are the negative, and 2 must be a serial and clock or whatever it uses. But yeah, we don't have any action out of this thing. I don't know if we could disconnect all displays, and I don't think it's going to make any difference. And whether we can get these displays off without breaking these connectors. The first one snapped almost instantly. Hey, I see one of these is wider than the other, so that's how it's polarized, I guess. Oh yeah, that's just coming, but these have probably been out in the sun and weather. I think 2006 is the copyright on one of these boards. Yeah, whether we need that one with the brightness display, or whether that brightness display even directly controls this or feeds back to something else, who knows. But yeah, one LED on. Have we got anything on that other connectors? I guess something else to look at. 0.8 volts, so yeah, pretty dead. That's our ground. Whether something should tell this thing to fire up somewhere. And this chip should have, I've got 5 volts there, so that's probably what's running our LED. Oh, maybe this thing is the low voltage side of things. Is this just a 5 volt? Well, it'll be more than a 5 volt surely, but this thing probably puts 5 volts out. There's your 24 in. Possibly makes sense if this thing puts out 5 volts. Yeah, I think that one was hooked to the positive of the 24, but I assume the other side isn't. It wasn't hooked to ground, I don't think, so that connector must do something else. Unless those fans are 24, but there isn't 24 there anyway, but maybe the fans turn on and off or something. So I guess the next thing is, does this little chip here have 5 volts on it? And is that proper ground? I reckon it would be. They're hard to check these things out. Blowing something up. Yeah, 24 volts. That is probably proper ground. How do I connect to this little chip? Oh, there's our 4.5, but looks like it's getting something like 5 volts to it. Is that a drive transistor maybe? But I don't know if this thing just lights up automatically or fires up automatically. I wish I knew what voltage came out of there. Can we tell by what these chips receive and are meant to run on? Let's see the positive there. Does that go to this cap here? Helps if you put on continuity. Doesn't seem to. Must come to something on this board. Where's our main connector there? So this must come through to one of these pins. Oh, there's one. There's another. What's on the other side? Nothing virtually. Well, I would have thought that'd go to, maybe it goes to the strings of LEDs or something. Which ones was it again? Somewhere around the middle there. Those two. Those two there, I think. Let's pause in. Same thing. 0.1. Ooh, there it is. And there. Interesting, I would have thought these LEDs would have been a row. Oh, is that a whole... Ugh, or like a series string. Oh, well maybe that is the string. Maybe it starts there. Let's see if other strings are... That could make sense. This big track here. So maybe the strings across... Oh yeah, you can see them across this way. So that is a string of LEDs because I can see the pad goes for a track to that one, to that one. Then it comes up to into that chip. Okay. So maybe if we can work out the string of LEDs, we don't... Well, I can work out the forward voltage drop probably. They then go into this chip. And that, yeah, so there are a bunch of LED outputs, some are connected back to this other chip. And maybe onto one of these little addressing chips or something. Oh, here we go. Looks like the wires there go to there, and they may well just feed through to the next one, or they may feed out of this one on the other side. But this is probably more where your data stuff comes in. We've got another different type of chip here. Okay, so the positive feeds the top of a string of LEDs. I guess the negative here we should find, probably not on the LEDs themselves, but on here maybe. Yeah, those caps aren't across the voltage then. Oh, there it is, they are. So that's just one of those connections that doesn't want to make. Oh, yeah, they're both to ground. There it is. That's the common pin on the chip, pin 1 by the look of it. Though, do all these chips run via... So that would be the B+. Where do they... Oh, well, that's probably why I'm getting some pins measuring a sort of higher resistance to positive. Maybe these little chips come via resistors or something off the positive, rather than, you know, obviously these driver chips can go... Well, they've still got to get their voltage. Well, that's probably what, yeah, those pins. So there must be some resistors or something feeding some of these. The rest of it, yeah, the only place the voltage goes directly to is these strings of LEDs. So I'm going to find out some info on those chips. Maybe we could fire up one of these boards without the switch mode. Or I'm going to have to dig out the other ones if I can remember exactly where they are. I kind of know where they are. They're buried in a shed behind the other stuff, I think. And see if we can find one with a working switch mode. Can't remember if I tried them all or just tried this one. I think this was the only one I really pulled apart though. I've got two ends here, so there might have been a second one got pulled apart and they're just bent because they were jammed down inside the aluminium case and did not seem to want to come out, so I couldn't be bothered. I just bent them to get them out. Interesting. Because I really need to do something with these, and if they got burnt up modules and water damaged modules and stuff, I mean, God, I guess that 24 volts coming in, God, that one's actually blown itself to pieces by the look of it. It either got burnt or I think it's actually blown a piece off it. Wow, or it got really hot. I can understand the other LEDs in that chain. You'd think it would have, assuming, well, maybe that one is one of the ones hooked to positive. The current, if that was going up in smoke, you'd think a fair bit of current would have flowed through the whole chain, so maybe that's why that one's blown. I'm not quite sure where these ones feed, whether they go across or down. They don't look like they go across, but I think the positive comes into each thing. They must come down. So why it's got that one on a different row. Oh, this got 3rd of the 5th, 2011, so that's when this board was done. Someone's been writing on it. 02R4, 02R4, so it's not the number of the panel. 01R4, 11. Now it's got 3rd of the 5th, 11 on that other one, so maybe someone's already refurbished. And actually, look at this one, the LEDs are a different colour. They are definitely redder than those ones, whether that's just sun fade. I wonder if someone's replaced some of them, although they match the other board. Yeah, it's definitely got some darker red LEDs on that side. Maybe that just happened in the factory because of a change of batch halfway through, who knows. But they would be cool panels to get going if I can at all. Be a shame to toss it back in the e-waste where it probably came from. And this one's got virtually as much electronics, well, I guess it would have, because it's the same. I've only got one chip there. That's got 4 and 2 small and 1 extra. So that's 1 chip less than the other ones. Interesting. You'd think it'd have the same, although maybe it doesn't do all the numbers or something. Maybe it only displays minimum, like a few numbers or 1 number, rather than having to do the full 10 different symbols that we have in the number system. Now they've got the LEDs across the middle. It's still a full 7 segment type setup. Okay, I've looked at all the different panels I got, and yeah, all of them have faulty bits in them. I think there's only that one that's actually gone up in smoke, but there's plenty of corroded ones. I'm just on a corroded one at the moment. None of these power supplies put out a voltage. So what I'm going to do is I've actually found there's a couple of, if these cables get out of the way, a couple of little test pads there on either side of that tantalum, and that's where the voltage from the switch mode comes in. So I've got my other power supply here, and I thought I might start at 9 volts. And there's a reason I'm plugging it into this dodgy panel is because I don't want to risk blowing up a good one. Ooh, yeah, we had some lights for a second, and then I blew it up, I think. A few lights down the corner came on. And that was it. Well, that's a bit disappointing. Well, I don't know if that's because that's a faulty board, but we've got plenty more faulty ones to plug in. I still want to risk blowing up a good one because I've got no idea what voltage these things are meant to run off. There's 5 volts coming from the power supply, so that little module, wherever it is, or the thing with the serial number stuck on it, that is a DC to DC converter, puts out 5 volts, up to 400 milliamps I think they were rated at. Well, first panel I check is burnt in the same spot. It's actually burnt through the circuit board tracks. So something really pulled some current. But that one's no good either. Well, let's hope this one doesn't go splat as well. Doesn't do a bloody thing. Well, that's about what's expected of this at the moment. You'd think something would do something. Okay, I did get the corner LEDs with 9 volts odd going into it to light up. Sometimes. There we go. So 3 LEDs there, and that's it. So does that take a while to come on? Is that what's going on? No, they come on now. But a lot of these other LEDs are all rusted and not very good. So that doesn't really do much anyway. But this one is potentially faulty. And there they go. So yeah, just those 3 LEDs come on in the corner. Even on a good one. I'm not sure I should crank it up any higher. Because I'd say if they're running, it should basically run. Yeah, they came on. Oh. Do we dare try one of those little boards, I guess. Can we try one of those little boards? Yeah, they got the same test points, so might as well take a risk. There's nothing much to lose on these things. Positives the other way around. Ooh, voltage has gone down. We're pulling 1.45 amps, so something's not too heavy. Have we got the polarity right? Ooh, oh, these other LEDs are doing something here now. What the? Oh, interesting. Is that because I plugged that board in? It's like they were talking to it. Yeah, interesting something, those lights. I didn't realise there even were more LEDs there until then. I think it's a 1/4 op amp there. Those other connectors definitely for fans. Because when I pull the other ones apart, they're still connected up. A couple of 24 volt fans though. We've got the corner lights doing something. Now just one. So yeah, very random behaviour. Just the one LED coming on. Wonder why that thing, was that talking to something on here, or did that suddenly wake up for some other reason? But yeah, I don't think we're going to have much luck with this stuff. It just doesn't seem to want to do anything. Whether it's got a faulty board or not. And that is a little, I think a microprocessor with like some sort of programmable logic array in it, so it could be programmed to anything. Yeah, that was an op amp. Couldn't find any info on the one chip I wanted, which is the one in this power supply. Really not sure what those numbers are meant to mean. I tried LT008, 17781, and various combinations, but I'm not sure that is LT. I'll have to see if I can find what company that's symbols for. Now, I don't think it's because we haven't got the fans hooked up, is it? No sign of any fans. Well, worth a try. Still nothing, no output. Let's try it one more time. There we go, I've got 3. No LED, then yeah, it goes down to 1. Oh, that's because I came off the connector. So it seems to be the 3 LEDs, and that's about it. So maybe there's a thermistor detect if the fans need to run. That's what you'd expect. Sun on. Lots of things with sun in their name on this thing. So, yeah, I'm none the wiser on these. I think what I might do is just keep 1 or 2, put all the good panels in one case or whatever. It seems to be all the ones with the LDR on them are damaged. But I think I'll just salvage the best panels. The aluminium cases can be sold for scrap. And maybe sometime I'll get back on it and play around with these again. Whether we can feed some 435 signal in there, I mean, it's possible maybe livening up the data and clock here will get that bit going. It's not impossible that something silly like that. Maybe they're designed not to come on until there's actual data there or something. It might be possible they detect that. It's the problem with all this microprocessor based stuff. You don't know how they've engineered it and what silly features they put in like that, which maybe they make sense not to turn on if there's no signal, because who knows, maybe these things have the 24 volts on them all the time or something, and it's up to the, once the till or cash register or whatever system starts up, then they start displaying when someone actually comes into the service station and opens it. So maybe it's some feature like that. I think those other ones I had, they all just lit up fine as they were, so, but this one might be different. But not out of 4 of these boards, none of them fires up that higher voltage part. They all just have the 5 volt coming out, so I don't think they're all faulty. Very unlikely. There's no obvious blown little fuse links or anything like that. So that might be all I do with these ones for now, so thanks for watching.